So now we're going to move on and learn Stairway to Heaven. Now this track, when you listen to this solo, you don't think, oh, it's not that fast, but actually when you come to play some of the licks, you realise that once they start, they don't seem to stop to the end. And some of them go past quite quickly. So just get it under your fingers slowly, and you might need to play it a good few times before you get it right. So let's have a look how it goes. So let's have a look at lick number 1 of this classic solo. Goes like this. Nice little pentatonic run that, isn't it? So you're bending up 7 on the G, up a whole step. Bit of vibrato if you can. Then 5 on the high E. 8 on the B, pull off to 5. Pull 7 off to 5 on the G. So far we've got this. And then hit 7 on the D, pull 7 off to 5 on the G again, and then 7 off to 5 on the D, and finally come to a rest on this 8th fret here, which is an F note, which is going to sound great over that F chord that he's on that bit of the solo, on the 8th fret of the A string. So okay, here's the next lick. So we're up here in kind of position 2 of the A minor pentatonic scale. So 10 on the B, twice on 8th fret of the high E. Then you're going to bend 13th fret of the B up a whole step, and then let it down and re-pick it on 13th fret of the B, okay? So that bend was the 15th fret of the B. And then hit 10 on the B twice. Slide 12 to 14 on the G. And then kind of stop and kill it with your right hand on 13th fret of the B. Pull off 15 on the B. That's a lick. 15 off to 13 on the B. 14 off to 12 on the G there. And then 14th fret on the D. And then finally just slide, do a little slide from 12 to 14 on the G. Let me play that little lick for you. Okay, then we have this run. Okay, so this is almost the same run as we did before. So you're going 5 on the high E, 8 pull off to 5 on the B, 7 pull off to 5 on the G, and then come to a rest again on that 7 on the D there, and then pull off 7 off to 5, 7 off to 5 again on the D, and then this time though you're going to come to 7 on the A, and you're going to do this. So once you've come to a rest on that 7 on the A, just play 5 on D here, up to 7 on the D, and then 5 on the G, okay? And then you're going to play that twice, that 5 on the G, and just release to an open G. That might have been a mistake on the record, I'm not too sure. But the best thing just for that lick is quite a funny lick, so just listen to it on the performance to get it, okay? So that's that lick. So if I play from this bit. Okay, then we have this. So again, very similar lick, 5 on the high E, pull off 8 to 5 on the B, 7 off to 5 on the G to 7 on the D here, and then you're coming up to 5 on the G again. Hammer this time though, 5 up to 7 on the G, pull off to 5, and then pull off 7 to 5 on the D twice. and then hit that F note, which is of course 8th on the A string. So that's quite a cool lick. Here's the next lick. So what he's doing here is he's really playing an F chord, an F kind of arpeggio here. So you slide into 7 on the D to 5 on the G, hit 6 on the B, pull off 7 to 5 on the G, 7 on the D, and then 5 on the G, slide 7 up to 9 on the G, hit 8 on the B, and then change your fingers here. I change to my 3rd finger, and I go from 8, slide up to 10 on the B, and 8 on the high E. So far we've got this. Okay, so that's that little bit. So let's just look at what we got so far. I think let's go on to the next lick. And then we've got this lick. So I'm just going to play from that last little bit into the next bit. So that next bit is, so you're bending 15 on the B, let it down, pull off to 13, back to 15, back to 13 there, and then you're going to bend up 15 on the high E, let down to 15, okay, back to 12, so. And then you're going to bend up 15 on the B again, kill it with your right hand, let down, 13 on the B, and finally come to a stop on that 14 on the G here. Okay, so that's a lot of notes, but actually when you play it, and then we're into that fast little run he plays, which is quite good, quite cool, this lick. So what you're doing here, let me break this down really, it's one of those licks that sounds quite confusing, but when you learn it, it's quite easy. Just bend up 15 on the B, bend it up and let it down to 15, pull off to 13, then hit 14 on the G, and finally 13 on the B, and that's it, that's all it is, it just repeats. So if I play that real slow, same again. It's hard to get this clean though, actually. So that's how it sounds when you speed it up. Then you got this. So after you've done this little fast run, bend up 15 on the high E, 12 on the E, 15 on the B, back to 12 on the high E, 15 on the B, pull off to 13, 14 on the G, 13 on the B again, stay with me, back up to 15, back to 13, back to 14 on the G, back to 13, and then you're going to bend up finally 15 on the B, catch 15 on the high E with your little finger. Now this note is already bent up, okay, so you're just going to re-pick it, let it down to 15, pull off to 13, and then come to a close on that 14 on the G. Whew, that's a lot of notes. Let me play it for you slowly. Really cool lick, that one. It's a bit tricky getting into that from the... It took me a while to get that, but stick with it, you'll get it, you'll get it. Okay, now we've got a really cool bluesy lick up here on the kind of the 19th fret. Really nice one that. You can rip that lick off, use it in your playing. So you're bending 19 on the G, upper whole step, 20 on the B, 17 on the high E. Okay? That note there is 17 on the B. That's the next bit, so you're bending on the G again, 19th on the G. Pull off to 17, 19 on the D, come back to 19 on the G. Okay? And then you're going to hit 17 there on the G, up to 19 again on the G, and then bend 19 up to the 21st fret. And again, bit of vibrato, okay. Nearly done now, last 2 licks. So you bend this 14th fret up kind of a tone and a half. So you're kind of bending to that note there, okay, which is the 17th fret. And let it down slowly. Pick that note 14 fret on G twice. Hammer on from 12 to 14 on the G. And then again. I think on the performance I went. So you can try that if you like. And then we have this. Now this is a tough bend because you're bending 2 whole tones from that F note, which is the 10th fret on the G. Let down slowly again. 9 on the G, 7 on the G, 5 on the G. And then pull off 7 to 5 on the G. And then bend up. Like that. Let back down to 7 on the G. Pull off to 5 on the G. And then finally hit that 7 on G. So. And then we have this last lick, which Jimmy Page used to do a lot. So this one, you're starting on the B, on the 17th fret, okay? Then you come with your little finger and you hit that 20 on the high E. But what you're doing is you're pulling after that 17 on the B, on the high E. And then you hit 17 on the B again. And then that repeats, so you go. You do that 4 times. And the last note of the solo, what you do here is you're bending 20 on the high E. And you just bend that up. With a bit of vibrato, if you can. It's tough to get vibrato on those notes. And then at the end, you can just slide off. Yeah, that lick at the end, it's funny, isn't it? It's a pentatonic thing, but it's actually quite tricky to do that on the guitar. So, as ever, take your time and you'll be fine.